Welcome. I'm Pastor Branson Villardo, and this is the Bible in 10 minutes. Today we're going to be talking about Terah, the father of Abraham, or you could say the father of faith. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel for more great content just like this. I want to start in Genesis chapter 11. I pray this video will be a great blessing to you and enhance your knowledge of the Bible. Genesis chapter 11, and I want to start in verse 27. Here's what it says. It says, "Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abraham, Nahor, and Haran begot Lot." I want to say right from the get-go, you should notice something about this. When it says, "Now these are the generations of Terah," you've heard that phrase, "Now these are the generations of," before in the Bible. You heard it when it said, "Now these are the generations of Adam." You heard it when it said, "Now these are the generations of Noah." Or when it said, when it will say, "Now these are the generations of Jacob. Now these are the generations of Isaac." Whenever it says, "Now these are the generations of," the Bible introduces somebody who's going to be a critical figure in the story. Somebody who's going to be very important to the development of the story, and somebody who you probably recognize. You know who Adam is. You know who Noah is. You probably know who Jacob is and who Isaac is. But the thing is, if you read here in Genesis chapter 11 and it says, "Now these are the generations of Terah," most people don't know who Terah is. In fact, if I were to walk up to your average Christian on the street and say, "Who's Terah?" they'd probably say, "I have no idea." But for whatever reason, Terah gets an introduction in the Bible like he's about to be a significant figure in the development of the story. And that's what I want to look at today. So obviously it says, "These are the generations of Terah." And if you've been reading the Bible all the way through, and you get to Genesis chapter 11, it says, "Now these are the generations of Terah," you're going to think to yourself, okay, so Terah is about to be a major figure. I read, and it says in verse 28, "And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarah, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child." And then look what it says in verse 31. This is very interesting. "And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan." Well, that's interesting because this is actually the first time that we hear about somebody in the Bible going into the land of Canaan. And if you've been in the church for a while, you've probably been taught that Abram left the land of Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. But what's interesting is it wasn't actually Abram that first left Ur of the Chaldees. It was his father Terah, the Bible says, that left Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And it says, "And they came unto Haran, and they dwelt there." And then it says, "And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran." Now, here's what's super interesting about Terah and makes him relevant. Terah has this grand entrance into the story of the Bible. It's like he seems like he's going to be a very significant character. He's along the lines of Adam and Noah in the way he gets introduced into the story. But the thing is, nobody knows who Terah is, and it may very well be because of what we just read right there. Terah starts the journey to go into the promised land. Canaan obviously is the promised land. It's where God promised to Abraham to give to his seed and to his descendants after him. But what's interesting is that it says that Terah went forth to go into the land of Canaan, but it says in verse 31, "They came unto Haran, and they dwelt there." Well, Haran was halfway between Ur of the Chaldees, where Abraham and Terah were from, and Canaan, where God ultimately called Abraham to go. What's interesting is Terah, he stops halfway on his journey, and the Bible says he died there, and then we never hear anything else about Terah for the rest of the story in the Bible. On the other hand, it says in chapter 12 and verse 1, "Now the Lord had said unto Abram," Genesis chapter 12, verse 1, "Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, from thy kindred, from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show you." But I want you to see what it says in verse 4, and then continuing on in verse 5. But verse 4 says this, "So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him." So he did the same thing his father did, Terah. They both departed. And Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And then verse 5, and Abram took Sarah his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, which is the same phrase as what it said about Terah in chapter 11 and verse 31. They went forth to go into the land of Canaan, but look what it says at the end. And into the land of Canaan they came. That's the difference between Abraham and Terah. Terah and Abraham both set out to go into the land of Canaan. In fact, the beginning of Terah looked more promising than the beginning of Abraham, because Terah is introduced by that critical phrase, now these are the generations of Terah. It doesn't say now these are the generations of Abraham. It says now these are the generations of Terah. So it looks like he's about to be a critical figure, and he goes to head out to the land of Canaan, which we as biblical readers know, this is the promised land. Abram and Terah both start off headed towards the promised land. But there's one key difference. Even though Terah had a more promising beginning, Abraham is the one who finishes the journey into the promised land. Abraham just doesn't set out to go into the land of Canaan. It says, and into the land of Canaan he came. The difference between Terah and Abraham is that Abraham finished the journey that Terah, his father, started. When you're walking with God, there's something about finishing the command that God's called you to accomplish. Many people start out on the right path. They're like Terah. They may even have a promising beginning. You may know people like this in your life. For example, they may have started a business around the same time as you, or they may have started going to church around the same time as you, but they started off with a more promising beginning. Maybe they had some word of prophecy spoken over them. Maybe they had some gift of money or investment of money to start their business that was given to them. Maybe when they first came to church, they were quickly promoted to a position of leadership. Whatever it may be, people start off, and they start off on the right path, headed towards the promised land and headed towards what God's called them to. But did you notice the difference there between Terah and Abraham? Abraham finished the journey, whereas Terah stopped halfway. Often the difficulty is not necessarily starting the thing that God's called you to, it's finishing the thing that God's called you to. The way to the promised land is often difficult and challenging, full of bumps in the road. And Terah, the temptation is to do exactly what Terah did. Stop halfway and settle there. But you notice that everybody knows who Abraham is, and nobody knows who Terah is. And there's a reason for that. It's because Abraham finished the journey that God called him to. I often say this, that one of the key distinguishers of an individual's faith is their faithfulness. The practical evidence of a man's faith is his faithfulness. The Bible says in the book of James, the Apostle James wrote, I'll show you my faith by my works. Abraham and Terah both had the faith to start a journey, but only Abraham had the faith to finish the journey. It was his faith demonstrated by his work in finishing the journey that ultimately made him what we now refer to as the father of faith. I want to encourage you, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, whatever the thing is that God's called you to do, whatever the assignment he's placed on your life, make sure that you complete the thing he's called you to. It's often easy to start, or maybe it's not easy to start. Maybe it takes a real leap of faith or an act of faith. But don't give up halfway. Terah and Abraham both started the same journey, but only one of them finished. And that's why we only know one of them today. I want to encourage you, whatever the thing is God's called you to do, continue at it. Keep at it until you reach the promised land. Don't give up and don't quit. My old pastor used to say it like this. He'd say there's only one type of person that God can't use, and that's a quitter. The only way you can lose to the devil is if you quit and if you give up. If you keep at it and you stay in the fight, then victory is guaranteed. The Apostle Paul said it like this. He said, and having done all to stand, stand. Stay in the fight, stand in the way, and keep traveling on the path that God's called you to until you reach the promised land. I pray this video has been a blessing to you, and I pray it's been an encouragement to you. Don't be like Terah. Be like Abraham and finish the journey and leave a legacy for your children and your children's children. Possess the land that God's called you to. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video to help us get the word out and subscribe to our channel for more great content just like this. God bless you. We love you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.